All right, ladies and gentlemen, look who's back.
Yes.
Yeah, it felt a little weird and odd to do a show without you, but Marty is back at least for this week. Um, programming note, if we will have a weekly episode show, even if it means that I have to do it by myself, I will. Um, but we'll try to also have both of us um going forward, hopefully. Um, no promises there. But as always, we will talk about Impact as well as AEW Dynamite and Rampage, and also talk about the new show that's going to be coming to AEW. So even
Yes.
more AEW talk on
Yes.
the show.
So, um, we start out Impact Wrestling with Trey Miguel taking on Laredo Kid, and Trey Miguel beats Laredo Kid after unmasking him, and then talks down the city of Chicago and says he deserves more respect. Holds the broadcast hostage until Chris Sabin comes out to say that Trey disrespected the X Division title and the X Division itself by spray painting the title and says to get respect, you have to give respect. Then we go on to the next match. Jason Hotch beats Ace Austin with the help of Brian Myers. In her Impact Wrestling in ring debut, Trinity beats Kylan King. But Jay Vidal comes out after the match to talk her down and says that Gazelle Shaw accepts the open challenge at Under Siege. So there is really one backstage segment that I like. I mean, the only reason why my notes for Impact are so like short is because there was a lot of backstage segments that like happened that really like I didn't quite know what to say about them or really even that they were that important. So, but this one was a bit like kind of to lead into Under Siege. So Steve Macklin, along with Champagne Singh and Shira, beat down PCO ahead of Macklin's clash with the French Canadian Frankenstein at Under Siege. This next match is nothing much to talk about. Jody Threat beat Sierra, jobber match. And then in the main event of Impact Wrestling, we had the six competitors at Under Siege team up in respective teams. So yeah, at Under Siege, there's going to be a six-way number one contenders match for the world title between Alex Shelley, Yuya Uemura, Jonathan Gresham, Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Frankie Kazarian. But before we get to Under Siege, we had this six-man tag consisting of Alex Shelley, Yuya Uemura, and Jonathan Gresham on one team, and Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Frankie Kazarian being on the other. And the whole thing with that match was Eddie Edwards and Frankie Kazarian couldn't quite see eye to eye, and there was a lot of miscommunication, and they couldn't really stay on the same page in that match. So um, it kind of cost them because ultimately their team lost, and Alex Shelley, Yuya Uemura, and Jonathan Gresham got the win. So that is Impact for the week. Um, look forward to Under Siege and Double or Nothing talk, as it's gonna be a busy. It's gonna be a pretty busy.
I mean, it will, but it'll be interesting to
It's
talk
gonna be a
about both.
busy episode. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot
So
to talk
definitely
about.
expect that in the next episode after this one premieres, there will be no Dynamite Rampage talk at all.
Yeah,
Highly given up on ROH. Not nothing against it. It's just not. the kind of the way that I
Yeah,
thought it would be. It kind of
like
started
the
off all right.
relaunch really didn't go the way we expected it. And you know, however, I did if there was one possible thing we could have talked about with ROH is the fight without honor that took place between the Kingdom and Darius Martin and Action Andretti.
Hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, like, it's nothing against the product personally. It's just like Jason said, it really hasn't gone the way that we expected it to. So I look at it this way: give it some time, and maybe it'll reach that level. But for now, it's yeah, like so. Moving on to
Uh,
AEW.
yeah. Speaking of AEW, Wardlow um starts the night off calling out Christian Cage, and beating him to spit in his face. To which Christian and Luchasaurus both come out. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that when he was talking, they were already out there, and then he was like, "You son of a bitch! I hope you do spit in my face." Where he was about to, and then Warlow um, stops him in his tracks and starts beating down Christian. They were already in the ring. I don't know why you said that.
No, Wardlow was calling him out, and then Christian came out later. But to your point, yes, that is what happened. Is Wardlow pretty much was like talking down Christian. He's like, I beg you, I dare you to spit in my face." And Christian was like getting ready. He was about to. He's like, and so then, yeah,
That's when Wardlow stops him and starts beating Christian down. But Luchasaurus interferes, and then they both beat down Wardlow, sending him into a ladder, which um, promptly um,
set up a ladder match
sets
that will
up.
take place at Double or Nothing
Yeah.
for the
Uh,
TNT title
honestly,
between Wardlow and Christian Cage.
yeah, that was gonna be the moment afterwards, but I guess we can talk about it. I don't know how I feel about Christian Cage. I always thought maybe it was gonna be a Luchasaurus, and that's how they were playing up to be. But now it's like it's no Luchasaurus. It's Christian Cage,
Yeah.
number one contender for the TNT Championship. But it's in a ladder match, which is fine. Christian Cage has got experience in ladder matches. I mean,
Yeah,
God,
which
like,
knowing that it kind of leads me to believe that they're gonna give Christian Cage the title. But at the same time, I look at it as like they really need to give Wardlow a somewhat lengthy reign with
yeah,
the
it would be
TNT
nice.
title.
I'm
I mean,
hoping,
granted, his
uh,
first reign
I'm hoping
was
Arn,
kind of lengthy, but at the
right?
same time, it's like they really like Wardlow just hasn't been given a good, uh, you know, a lengthy good run with the TNT title
Yeah,
and like
no,
with actual like hungry competitors like wanting that title. So I
true.
mean,
I'm hoping Arn is gonna get involved in this match and like tip over the ladder while Christian
Christian
Cage
is on
is
it.
on it or something like that.
That would make sense.
Because
And I
I'm thinking
mean,
Luchasaurus is
it is something that I could see
gonna get
happening.
involved and try to help out Christian Cage, and Arn Anderson
Yeah.
is gonna get involved and try to help out Wardlow
I just thought
retain.
about this. You know what I could see happening with that too is Luchasaurus like you know propping like being underneath Christian or like having Christian propped up on Luchasaurus's shoulders and Luchasaurus is climbing the ladder to help Christian like possibly win or something like that.
That could happen, but honestly, I think this is the kind of match that seems good for
I
the
mean either
TNT
way
Championship.
there's an entire like laundry list of possibilities that could happen with
It's
this
kind of
ladder
crazy because
match.
almost every title is on the line at Double or Nothing except for the trios tag team titles.
What oh yeah, yeah. I mean I'm sure they could announce something but you never know. especially with those open house rules.
Like
Like I
literally
don't.
well, except for maybe the international championship too. But
Well,
again,
no, the international champions or no.
oh well, yeah, actually, yes, it will
I was
be
gonna
in
say
the
because
battle
the
royal.
blackjack battle royale isn't that for the international
It
title?
is, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Literally, almost every single title is on the line except for the trios tag team titles, which
Oh yeah. So okay, that's another kind of spoiler that we're the blackjack battle royale because that kind of happened later in the show. But we're jumping all over the place here, folks. That
but we'll get on to the first match of the night as Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin face off against Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. This kind of felt like what? This kind of
I mean
felt
the
weird that
pairing of Darby and Orange Cassidy didn't really make a lot of sense,
yeah, but it was
and
a great
having them go up
match
against
either
yeah, I
way.
mean
Orange
don't get me
Cassidy and
wrong,
Darby
yes,
Allin could make a great tag team. I mean, I get have Darby and Sting, but if Sting never ever works out anymore, I think that um maybe Orange Cassidy could or Darby could beat with Orange Cassidy. I mean, who knows? It's still something that still you know still could work out in a favor, but again, I think that maybe you know with this, like they just the way that they wrestle, high kind of high flying kind of action. I mean, you got Orange Cassidy doing the whole, you know, fake hitting and stuff like that. You got Darby, crazed lunatic beating up on, Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. But unfortunately, Big Bill and Lee Moriarty were trying as much as they could, but just got bested. And
yeah,
bested, I think, is the best word here. Against Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin in a match that kind of made absolutely no sense, but you did have three of the four pillars um,
yeah,
win every single match that they were involved in, but it makes you wonder. Later tonight, we will hear from all four pillars leading into their double or nothing match. Tell you what, I think this is going to be probably the best match for the world title in the history of AEW, honestly. Like a fatal four-way, four pillars
yeah.
match for the world title. That's gonna be one hell of a match, I feel like.
I
Um
agree.
so yeah, we get
Excuse
on
me.
to more action or more backstage stuff as Blackpool Combat Club. Young Bucks are looking to leave the building, and Blackpool Combat Club have the 3-2 advantage as they beat down the Young Bucks, and they say that they are truly the elite in this business. Um,
Hmm.
you know, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. I mean, to be honest with you, the match that they're going to be involved in, it's going to be great. It will be nice to also see Brian Danielson back in action. I mean, we all remember the last Anarchy in the Arena where he kind of
Yeah.
got a little concussed and had to
Oh
be out for a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
So
I forgot that that was
I'm
the
hoping
anarchy in the
maybe that's
arena.
not. I'm hoping maybe that this time it won't happen. But
I'm hoping
it's kind
not.
of I'm kind of wondering why AEW is kind of protecting Brian Danielson and not really having him compete on the televised weekly episodes. It's kind of like he's just the cheerleader for the Blackpool Combat Club.
Well, I mean, maybe that's his role right now. So,
It just I don't know. It kind of seems weird to me. But truly, right now the Blackpool Combat Club are showing that they are the true top dogs
yeah.
um, of. But honestly, you know what I could see for the World Trios Tag Team titles?
What's that?
Because that they're kind of building towards it. The Best Amigos against the House of Black. That's kind of like what they're leading
Well, I
towards.
mean, they already had that match.
True.
Well, did they? Or I think it was no, it wasn't the best amigos. It was the best friends with Orange Cassidy. which I mean, at this point, you might as well just call him strictly
I
the best
mean,
friend.
I think the House of Black are putting the World Trios tag team titles the Wednesday before Double or Nothing in the open house match. So who knows? Um,
We already talked about those
yeah,
two
yeah.
things.
Um, Orange Cassidy says if you want a shot at the title, go to Tony Khan. Thoughts? Well, yeah, 20 men went up to Tony Khan and wanted a shot at the international championship, and he's like, well, you know, why don't we make it, like blackjack, like 21 competitors have a blackjack battle royal? So it's going to be happening. Um, yes, so we are going to see Orange Cassidy putting the title on the line twice in 1 week, where he's going to put the title on the line against Kyle Fletcher on Dynamite, and then put the international championship on the line against 20 other men, which
Well,
makes
technically, it wouldn't be the same week because Sunday technically is the start of a new week.
yeah, true. But
But I do get what your point is. Like in the span of a few days, he's gonna be defending it like twice.
it's gonna be interesting to see exactly what's gonna be happening. Who knows? I mean, we never know. It could be Orange Cassidy. It could be Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher has been one hell of a, showcasing that he can be one hell of a singles competitor in AEW if
Yeah,
given the chance. So, um,
I mean, but to be fair, him and Kyle Davis or him and Mark Davis there, Aussie Open, they're just tearing up the world right now
I'm
in
hoping
New
they can.
Japan.
I know, but I'm hoping that maybe they can get a shot at the AEW World Tag Team titles. I get it that they're, in Japan and IWGP Tag Team
Yeah, but I
champions.
mean, hey, Forbidden Doors coming up soon, so
That's
who's to
true too.
say they don't just take on FTR again,
That
this
would be
time
cool.
winner take all.
That would be awesome. I would love
And
that.
when I say winner take all, I'm not just strictly talking about the IWGP. I'm talking IWGP and New Japan Strong tag team titles.
Never open weight tag team titles. Yeah.
No, no, no. New Japan Strong tag team titles.
I think that it's called the
No,
New
no,
Japan
they're
Strong
yeah,
Never Open Weight Tag
they're
Team
not
titles.
never. It's not never. Never is the uh never is the open weight title and the 6-man titles.
Hmm. Okay.
No,
I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying, but like,
it's New
so
Japan Strong
if you
tag
want
team
to go
titles.
and back to 80 and correct me in the comments, I did kind of say it was the New Japan Strong Never Open Weight Tag Team titles, but I do
Okay, yeah, no,
apologize.
the never is its own like
But to be
thing.
honest with you, I
So
think Orange Cassidy could end up retaining it, Double or Nothing. But I really do think that there's going to be a surprise debut. I don't know exactly who it's going to be.
now that I mention it, and not to cut you off or anything, um, by the time that I'm recording, like by the time that we're recording this, um, New Japan has just launched a new women's championship separate from the IWGP. New Japan now has the New Japan Strong Women's Championship.
Hmm. But of course they do.
And something tells me that Mercedes Monet is going to be gunning for that title. I mean, she's already tweeted about
She's
like
not even
the
in Japan anymore.
yeah, she is.
No, she's not.
She
She's technically.
just she just showed up at New Japan for a match. Resurgence is like
I did.
happening like
Oh,
right now.
okay. I mean, maybe she
So
will. Who's to say that she couldn't be the debuting person for AEW? Who's
I
to
mean,
say? Who's
she
to say
might like.
that Taya Valkyrie beats Jade Cargill and she doesn't debut and gunning after that TBS championship? Or the AEW Women's World Championship?
Spoilers, man.
Why, do you already know something that I don't
No,
know?
no, I'm saying spoilers because we haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, I know. Well, sorry. Um,
We're live, pal.
I know. So, Sammy Guevara wrestles against Exodus Prime. That's not much to talk about. He beats him, and then remembers the old days in Texas and the struggles he had to endure before getting to AEW. He has made a lot of mistakes, and people
Yeah,
have
like
seen
saying he
them
was gonna rape Sasha Banks,
first. Yeah. um,
and also when he was engaged to his then fiance, and then they, you know, didn't get married.
and people have seen them
What
first.
more mistakes can I name off?
Okay. He has made a lot of mistakes, and people have seen them firsthand. The right place is double or nothing um, for him. Wants to shut up all the naysayers and listens to his heart and says he will be the world champion. Thoughts? Um,
It's a
personally,
very
I wouldn't be opposed now with everything that he's been, showcasing. That maybe he
I
can
mean, like, yeah,
get his
say what you
moment.
will about Sammy Guevara, but, like, in my opinion, he gets a lot of unnecessary hate.
But personally, something tells me that somehow MGF retains here. Nothing against any of the other pillars maybe being the world champion, but I just think that there's a bigger picture, and that I think that you would keep MGF with the world championship here, even though I think it's going to be a very hard fought um, match for the
Well, see,
in the fatal four way match for the
that
world
reminds me
title.
too of some things that I've been seeing on Twitter that people are saying like Eddie Kingston needs to be the one to dethrone MJF, and I'm like, I
Yeah, but
mean,
he's dealing with his injuries and everything like that right
not
now.
to well that plus not to mention, I
You
think the
know what?
bigger story is
I didn't even think
him
about
taking the
that.
title off of Claudio.
I didn't even think about that. What if he ends up being, coming back and being in that Blackjack Battle Royal? I don't know if it's too soon.
It's too soon. He literally like just had hernia surgery. Like not even that takes a while to heal.
Hmm.
So Eddie Kingston, it's too soon for him to come back.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see who is going to be involved in that Battle Royal. I mean, it's an odd way to have a title on the line, but
I agree, but I mean, it's an interesting concept.
it is.
I mean,
Sammy
let's not
Guevara would
forget
be an
about the fact.
interesting test, but honestly, the one person that I think that might have the edge out of all four pillars might just be Darby Allin.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
understand that he didn't really want to go after the World Heavyweight Championship, but
well, he said that
I think that
reportedly.
Darby Allin might be the best bet to win it if it isn't MGF.
Yeah, I mean, what better time than now to have Darby? And even then, like he himself stated that he doesn't want to be in wrestling for that long, and he plans on pursuing a career in Hollywood after wrestling. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude, how beat up is your body gonna even be by the time you do
Yeah, right.
potentially go into Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean,
But one thing I was gonna add is like, let's not forget that WWE has done that before with having Roman Reigns defend his WWE Championship at the time in the 2016 Royal Rumble.
right. That's true.
So it's not the first time that somebody is defending their championship inside of like a battle royale type match.
True. So FTR and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett beat each other down before their match of Double or Nothing, and FTR um, get guitars smashed over their heads, will they become the new tag team champions?
I
Um,
doubt it.
I don't think so.
Nothing against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, but like they just don't scream tag team champions to me. And even more so, like I'm at the point where I'm like, do we really need to see Jeff Jarrett have another championship run in any company for that matter?
No. I mean, it'd be very intriguing to see what FTR does after Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. But honestly, I think this is going to be a better tag team match than people may think it might be. I mean, of course, I think FTR can mop the floor over Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, but you can't count Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. They are veterans for a reason too.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that is true.
so I it's kind of funny about Jeff Jarrett. I was watching a video just recently of Jeff Jarrett and WCW Night Monday Nitro, and the little like um midget guy. I forgot what his name was, but like he um he called
Which
him
midget guy are you talking about?
like kind of like the smaller like African American midget guy dressed up in like a superhero suit. He called him Slap Nuts. He's like, "What do you call me?" He's like, "Hey, Slap Nuts." And then he just freaking smashed the guitar over his head. It's
I
like,
think
that's
I do.
Mr. Slap Nuts
Oh
for you.
yes, okay, I know what you're talking about now. I didn't realize that. Okay, I didn't know any. I didn't. But I knew nothing about a.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
he's
so.
been Slap Nuts
Oh yeah,
since his days in WCW. That's just
yeah.
his gimmick and that's just his moniker. Um,
But hey, no, that's Mr. Slapnuts to you.
yeah, of course,
But
when he was in WCW, that was way before he was brought onto WWE. I mean WWF slash
actually, no,
WWE.
because around that time, I know what you're talking about. His whole like that when he did that's Mr. Slapnuts. That was actually after he left WWE the first time. He went back to WCW, and then it was after WCW had shut down its doors that he founded TNA. Cause
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Okay.
cause he was in WCW first as like Double J with doing the whole Double J thing, and then he brought that over to WC or to WWF, and then that was when he lost like I think it was a hair versus hair match or something. It morphed him into his like kind of current ish character.
Hmm.
It was when he had the whole like "Don't piss me off" shirt like kind of thing, and that's when he started kind of going under like the Slapnuts thing that
Right.
he brought to WCW, and then he formed TNA. He did that whole thing in TNA until Global Force, and then Global Force happened, and then he got
No,
inducted into the
honestly,
WWE Hall of Fame in
okay.
2017.
This is where
So,
I'm gonna change it for what's gonna happen after Double or Nothing. I don't think it's gonna be United Empire. That's gonna
oh, Aussie Open.
Aussie Open. I don't think it's gonna be them. I think it's gonna be the Hardys. I think they're gonna build
Well,
that.
I mean, obvious, like you're talking like AEW inside of AEW,
But
but I
then
mean, we got
again,
to build
they
towards
could
Forbidden
leave
Door.
that match for All In London. I think that would be the bigger
I think that is ultimately
match.
the bigger picture and the bigger,
So maybe they could have just a one-off um, Aussie Open and
well, I mean, they got to have a
FTR.
match for Forbidden Door, anyways,
I
in
know.
terms of like, because ultimately, I feel like what's going to happen with that is ultimately it's going to be like a multi promotional, like, title thing where I'm sure, like, um, let's say, like, the never open weight champion faces possibly Orange Cassidy and the international title. Like, I don't know what's gonna be the plan and like how they're gonna book Forbidden Door ultimately, but I mean, I can just expect to see a lot of interpromotional like matches for Forbidden Door. I mean, because ultimately that's kind of what happened with the last year's event. So
So yeah, Sammy says they need to take off the title off of
he
the
was talking
prick
with Darby Allin, and
MJF. Thoughts on that one? Yeah,
I agree.
I definitely happen to agree. You need to take the title off of MJF. It would be nice, but I just don't think it's gonna happen.
But
Um,
color me surprised if it does.
yeah, exactly. The Outcasts, Tony Storm and Ruby Soho face off against Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. I was actually shocked with who won this match. I maybe would have thought that would have been Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida, to be honest with you. Um,
Well, I mean, like I was even saying that when we were watching Dynamite uh, initially, I was like, that's a weird pairing considering they feuded like not that long ago, Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida for the women's title.
I know it's kind of weird to see Britt Baker as like a baby face, not as a heel
It
right
is
now.
weird to see her as a face now, like especially after
I mean,
she's been a heel for so long.
I know she's barely wrestling right now. It's kind of odd.
You
Like,
talking about Britt or
yeah,
Hikaru or both?
Brett, no. Well,
I
Hikaru
mean,
Shida kind of
yeah,
hasn't been
both
either, but
kind
she's
of
been
work, but
working in Japan more so than AEW. I think
yeah,
AEW
that
is
is
her
true. I forgot that
like
she's
part
like
time kind of gig.
mainly, yeah, she's kind of like a part timer for AEW. Her main like
But Britt would wrestle
priorities or
more as a
whatever.
heel
Yeah,
than as a babyface. It's kind of like she's riding the coattails of Jamie Hayter. So it
I
makes
mean,
you wonder how long it's going to be storytelling wise until Britt Baker turns on Jamie and feuds
yeah,
for
I
the
was gonna
title.
say they kind of like
I feel like it's going to be coming soon.
with the rise in popularity that Jamie Hayter got,
It
it kind of
writes
forced
itself,
Britt Baker to like prematurely turn face.
right?
So I mean, like, it's a little unnatural for Britt Baker to be a. I mean, granted, you know, like that's kind of like a double-edged sword there because like the whole DMD thing is over,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's like Britt Baker is just a natural heel. So I mean,
Right.
like I said, it's
I
kind of like a
know.
double-edged
That's why
sword
I want to
there.
see like how long it's gonna be for her to go to turn on Jamie Hayter and form back up with Rebel and
Yeah, because that's another thing too. Is the reason why you don't see Rebel there anymore is because of the premature face turn that occurred with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter.
right. Um, I will say anything about Outcast. I tell you what, their look it just like it is awesome. I mean, seeing Tony Storm going out of her element and wearing like studs and leather like with like studs on it, like it's crazy. Like I get it. That Buddy Murphy or not Buddy Murphy. With Juice Robinson
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
somebody that might like heavy metal, and I think Tony Storm definitely does. I mean, come on.
Oh, you can tell.
But like this, just the look that they have to them, that looks badass. I'm sorry, but like the Outcasts, like give them as
I
much hell as
mean,
you want to,
not for
but like their
nothing, when
look
you're
and
around
persona,
Soraya, who is dating the lead singer of Falling in Reverse, Ronnie Radke, like it's kind of heavy metal kind of rubs off on them.
right? True.
Well, not to mention Ruby
But
Soho herself is like a punk rocker.
yeah,
So
Tony Storm and Ruby Soho get the victory here. I was quite shocked. I maybe would have thought Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. This match actually was originally supposed to be a trios match, but I think Jamie Hayter
yeah,
she suffered a separated shoulder in that little um altercation with the Outcasts, which
if
hopefully speedy
if
recovery
I
for
mean,
Jamie Hayter here.
well, no, I don't know about that, but I'm pretty sure it's just a minor setback, anyways, because I'm pretty sure at Double or Nothing she's defending against Tony Storm.
Yeah, I think that's what the plan
So
is that she's supposed to defend the title against Toni Storm, which uh Jamie Hayter was actually the one that dethroned Toni Storm, and now Toni Storm is getting her
yeah,
rematch at Double or Nothing for the Women's World Championship, which fine. Personally, if I had to choose anybody, I would think that Hayter retains here, but then again, if you do give the title back to Toni Storm, hopefully maybe a longer reign for her.
well, I mean, I look at it this way. If you give the title back to Tony Storm, at least this time, it will actually. I mean, granted, it was later rectified to be an official reign,
Hmm.
but during the entirety of her reign, she was merely labeled as an interim champion. So at least this time, if they were to give her another run with it, she would be formally a an AEW World Women's World Champion.
Right.
So
Um. So AEW Saturday Collision will debut Saturday, June 17th, leading into Forbidden Door. Um. Another show. It's gonna be Collision is supposed to be um rumored to basically be what Rampage is currently, and
yeah,
a lot of stars that you really do not see on AEW Dynamite or the ones that usually are in there and compete on both brands. That's what Collision is going to be. I think it's just what an hour, not 2 hours, or is it 2 hours?
I I didn't see anything about like um that. I just know that it's a new show
It
on
would be
TNT that's
it would be
going to.
kind of cool if it would be 2 hours, but I think it's only an hour.
I
Um,
mean, not for nothing though.
personally,
Saturday programming, like,
personally, what I would think is that you should have Collision as like another live show, and then Rampage be as the taped show in a
I
way.
think that's what, at least from the way they're making it sound, I think that's the direction that they're gonna go
It would be
with
nice
Collision.
because I think Collision should be that like second like show opposite of like Dynamite where it's live because you get another like live feel, and then Rampage should be taped.
Yeah, I
Collision
mean,
should be live,
yes,
because
yeah,
then
because like
then you can one
honestly,
make it better that way too, and then I think that you should book it the same way that you book Dynamite. I mean, nothing against Rampage. I get it; they book it a little bit different than Dynamite,
yeah,
but I think Collision should be booked heavy, like Dynamite is.
I agree.
If you want to get off the ground and want
Yeah,
people to really be invested with it, I think you should book it the same way you book Dynamite.
I agree. Yeah,
Which honestly, I think that's maybe what they're gonna go on. I would love to see people like Miro, Thunder Rosa, people that you really don't haven't seen in a while
yeah,
be prominently used on Collision. Which Collision they're kind of making it like seem like that like second brand.
yeah. I was just about to say that it would like it kind of sounds like from the look of it that, and especially
Because if you look at the
with the
poster,
way that,
if
well,
you look
not
at
to
the
mention with the way that like what was it last week or the week before
hmm,
where Miro and Thunder Rosa showed up. In a way, it seems like what's going to happen is there's going to be like a quote unquote like draft that happens where it's like one brand of AEW is Collision and then the other brand is Dynamite. So where you have like two separate rosters for Collision
okay.
and
First off, AEW, if you want to do that correctly, just have one world champion and have the world champion
have the
compete
world
on
champ.
either
Yes,
Dynamite and Collision. Don't have
which
two
is what
different
the
world champions, and I'm looking at you, WWE.
well. Here's the thing: when WWE did their first draft back in what was it, '01 or '02, um, that was what they had to do. There was the undisputed champion, and he would be able to show up on both Raw and SmackDown. When WWE did the draft the first time, they got it right.
I think what you should do is have um, one show have the international and one show have the TNT, and then
I
also
agree.
have one show the women's world championship, and then TBS
Yes,
championship.
I
So then
mean,
you can have
fittingly, I think the TBS title should go to Dynamite since TBS is the home of
uh,
Dynamite.
yeah.
And then you have the women's world title on Collision.
See,
That's just my
I think
opinion.
AEW can make it work out.
Yeah, if they
And
were to
then
go that
one
route of
show
a
should have the
draft,
trios, and one should have the tag team titles. Like
well,
because I think you can make it work out with Collision, but
see, I don't know about that because I feel like if you were to have the trios titles on both shows, it would give fresh competition for both rosters to be able to challenge. Same thing with the tag team titles. It would open up the roster to include both, to include that full AEW roster where you have
I think it's
one
another main
roster in
Ross.
Collision and then one
Yeah,
roster in
I
Dynamite
think that's
be able
another
to.
main reason why they decided for another show like this is so then like a lot of the guys that you don't prominently
It
use
freshens up
on
the
Dynamite,
competition.
it'll freshen up the competition a
Yeah,
little bit more. You'll start seeing probably guys like Miro a little bit more, Thunder Rosa. The only thing I don't like about it is like, please, for the love of God, if you're gonna do that, please book it great like Dynamite,
yeah,
because if you use those guys and then make it like it's just dull, then people are not gonna get behind it and not gonna be invested and
yeah,
stuff like that. I just hoping that like for the love of God, Tony Khan, do the right thing, book it like yeah like a second Dynamite
yeah,
and book it strong and then have great storytelling, great matches, and great programming. Because if you do that, you're gonna get people invested with it, and if have it like where it's like Rampage right now, people are not gonna be invested with it. They're just gonna say
yeah.
like, okay, we'll watch it just to watch it, and then not really truly be super invested in it at all. So hopefully they hit the ground running with Collision. So we get on to our main event of Dynamite as Roger Strong and Chris Jericho face off in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Man, I tell you, this really got back and
Was
forth.
this the
This
main event match?
It was a main event match, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, actually, well,
I was gonna say I don't think. Yeah, no, it was okay. No, no, it wasn't the main event match.
oh, okay. But even though, yeah, well, should have been maybe the main event match. I don't see why it
I
wasn't.
mean,
Roger Strong and Chris Jericho beat the living hell out of each other. They're going to the stands. Chris Jericho um,
I was gonna say
threw a
another.
hit, through the
Another
garbage
I think.
garbage bin into Roderick Strong. And people were following no matter what. I mean, he threw him into. He even got him into the ice cream. He ate some ice cream. Roderick Strong ate some ice cream and threw it right
Oh yeah,
into
you're
Chris
talking
Jericho.
about. Okay, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, dude. That Falls Count Anywhere match was freaking. That should have been the main event.
and Adam Cole found a loophole
Yes,
in it.
because technically, well,
He was
see,
banned from
that's
the
the thing.
building. He
He
was
was
never
banned from the
banned from
building.
outside.
They took it outside, and he was able. Yeah,
Yeah, so Roderick Strong.
which.
I never thought that maybe he was going to be able to beat Chris Jericho,
Well,
honestly.
see, here's the thing. I didn't even think about that until somebody pointed it out on Twitter. On both Dynamite and uh, Adam Cole was like it was perfect storytelling because the thing about, well, with Dynamite, he knew that he wasn't allowed in the building, so it's almost as if he talked to Roddy beforehand to be like, hey, make sure you guys like brawl all over the arena and take it outside so that I can technically like be able to kick Chris Jericho's ass. And then um, same thing with Rampage
Right, that's true too.
because I mean think about it for Rampage because Jericho like ripped up the contract and everything, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you did that, Chris, because now he like opened the doors to the building and then followed."
Right.
So yeah,
But yeah, Roderick Strong beats Chris Jericho with the help of Adam Cole outside. I'm actually shocked that the Jericho Appreciation Society were not involved.
oh, I know. Well, it's interesting too because now it makes me think. I mean, granted, technical, but that wasn't outside. I don't think. The halftime heat match
Hmm.
that technically was still inside the confines of the arena. I don't. I think Roderick Strong and Chris Jericho might be the first Falls Count Anywhere match that actually uh, had the deciding like pinfall or whatever take place outside the venue. I think.
Maybe.
Please, somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that Chris Jericho and Roderick Strong is the first Falls Count Anywhere match to actually um, have the deciding like have the pinfall be decided outside
Probably.
because I don't even think during the hardcore championship like era. I mean, technically that's you know that all happened with the whole like 24/7 stuff, but I mean like with the hardcore title and even with the 24/7 title. I mean, obviously those like every now and then would take place outside of the arena and like all that stuff. But I mean like an actual Falls Count Anywhere match itself. Just the match was decided outside the building.
So yeah, Jungle Boy and Roosh face off against each other, and then
Can we talk about that moment in the match because it's been talked about like everywhere at this point? Jungle Boy was like this close to like either getting potentially paralyzed or possibly losing his freaking life. Like if he hadn't flipped his body at the right moment to take the full landing on his back, yeah, it would have been a nasty landing for Jungle Boy.
yeah, pretty much landed on the top of his head for that body belly of the.
Landed on the top of his head and would have and possibly would have broken his freaking neck to the point where he would probably be paralyzed from like the neck down or
Yeah,
even the waist down. Like I don't
Roosh,
know, but yeah,
you know, I don't know what his obsession is with the extension cords, but he just loves to bring them out in every match that he wrestles in. Like, we
I was
get
gonna
it.
say I
You like
saw
to
that
choke people
like
out.
I saw the extension. I think it was like uh, brought out like prematurely because I think what ended up happening with that is like Jose lifted the apron or something like prematurely. You saw the extension cord there. I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to see that.
But yeah, Jungle Boy actually beats Roosh with holding the tights. That's a praise roll up, man, I tell you.
The most devastating move in sports entertainment, man.
And then after the match, Roosh chokes Jungle Boy out. Then Darby Allin comes out to help, and then he gets choked out, and then out comes Sammy Guevara to help out. Man, I tell you something. There's something brewing up with the three pillars, um, and that does not make MJF happy, as MJF is looking very frustrated and annoyed with what he's seeing. Renee's like, "What do you think? About the three
What do you,
pillars?" And it smacks the mic right out of Renee's Hannah, what does this mean?
It means that MJF better be counting his days. Better be counting his days because you best believe John Moxley is waiting to give him an ass whooping for you know doing that to his damn wife.
I'm sure it was written, or actually, it
No,
wasn't.
it wasn't planned. That was not planned.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So that's why I say
I'm sure John
I'm
Moxley met him backstage about that one. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I've even heard Tony Khan himself say that MJF is a rather difficult person to work with, and I've even heard like a lot of wrestlers say that like he's rather difficult to work with. I don't know if that's
Why does
in
it not shock
kayfabe
me?
or not, but yeah, like you know, so pretty much like if if I'm looking at that for the whole like bidding war of 2024 in quotation. I if I'm WWE, I would be looking at his track record of like people saying this in like shoot interviews and everything like that, and I would be like, oh, he's got attitude issues. Another Austin Aries. Yeah, we don't want that.
Right. So yeah, Tony, we were talking about it, but Tony Storm wants Jamie Hayter to come to Double or Nothing to defend the title against her. Um, cool. I mean, yeah, we get another title match between these two. So who knows what's gonna happen? Actually, the main event of
Yes, the
Dynamite
main event match of
was
Dynamite.
Jay White against Ricky Starks, but not the way that I thought it would go. Honestly, Ricky Starks was trying as much as he could with um, Ram,
Juice Robinson and Jay White.
Rochambeau
Oh
and the
yeah.
Spear there, but Jay White actually Juice Robinson throws in the chair to Jay White. Jay White uses it on
Well,
Ricky.
he tried to, I think, and
Oh,
then
actually no, Ricky Starks uses the chair on
yeah.
Jay White, and Jay White wins by disqualification. After Ricky Starks uses the chair on him. Um, but it's safe to say that these two men are not done with each other.
Also with that, we got our daily dose of Juice Robinson yelling Ricky.
Hey man.
So,
Uh, again, I
but at least
will.
we know one thing about Juice Robinson is he's always rock hard.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. But it's safe to say it would be honestly better if it was a tag team match. But I think it's just gonna be Jay White and Ricky Starks.
Well, I
Or
was gonna say, who would Ricky Starks find as a tag team partner to take on Juice and
I was thinking
Jay
Action
White?
Andretti, but who knows?
I mean, not for nothing. I think Action Andretti's got his hands tied up with Darius Martin and Ring of Honor.
Hmm,
So,
probably.
I mean,
So yeah, Don Callis comes out and says, "Without him, there is no Kenny Omega." And out comes Kenny Omega, beating down security and gets beaten down by the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite um
with Hangman Adam
yeah, the
Page.
Elite and Hangman joins them. It looks like he's back with the Elite for good, maybe, or just for this match. Um
Nah, I think, I mean, I think that's the big. You got to look at the bigger picture. Hangman joined back up with his brothers, and even then, I didn't see the whole thing, but I guess after Dynamite had like gone off the air, Kenny was like, "Well, I think I found the Hangman, and I think I found a brother, and like kind of thing." So it's like that's the bigger picture.
and then all of the Elite beat down the Combat Club and leads to anarchy in the arena match at Double or Nothing. Thoughts? This is going to be a brutal match, I tell you.
Yeah,
You thought the Jericho Appreciation Society and the Blackpool Combat Club with,
with Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz.
yes, was brutal enough. This one with a
Yeah, because
full
I think
on Blackpool Combat Club.
Or no,
Actually, it
no,
was a Jericho.
it wasn't even Santana and Ortiz. It was just Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. Yeah, because it was at the time that Blackpool Combat Club only had um, Moxley, Yuta, and Danielson, and then it was Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz that, and then they took on um, Jericho, Hager, Sammy, and 2.0.
Hmm.
Or was it?
Yeah, it
No.
was a 5-on-5
Or was it 6 on
intercaner.
6?
I don't know, but
Either way, it
it
was,
does seem
yeah.
odd that it's 4-on-4 this time around and not 5-on-5 like it
It is a little
was.
odd, yeah.
But honestly, I think this is going
But
to be a
hey,
great match. It's going to be very brutal,
I look at it
bloody,
this
and
way.
hardcore.
I look at it this way. It's about damn time we're getting a match like this without like the inner circle or the
I
fucking
know, I was going to say it is nice to
because
see.
you talk about Double or Nothing 2020 Stadium Stampede with the Inner Circle versus the Elite and Matt Hardy, and then Double or Nothing 2021, same thing. It was the Inner Circle versus who was it? It wasn't
I think it was the Pinnacle.
yes. Yes,
Actually,
it
no, I
was.
think that
No,
was Blood
that
and
was Blood
Guts.
and Guts.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
but I think either way, it was Stadium Stampede, and it involved the Inner Circle, and then Double or Nothing 2022. We had Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club with Eddie Kingston and Ortiz and probably Santana.
right.
So, and now this year we have Anarchy in the Arena, but no JAS.
Yeah, I know. I'm happy about that.
I
Well, it's
mean,
because Chris Jericho has his hands full with Adam Cole. That's why.
yeah, which also is interesting too because thank God that it's just Chris Jericho and it's not him and his stupid fucking factions.
So, we got on to Rampage as the Blackpool Combat Club face off against the Best Amigos and beat them. And then Kyle Fletcher claims he's the new international champion. Thoughts? Well, you gotta beat Orange Cassidy first before you can
And
just
that's
claim
no
that
easy
stuff.
task, as we've seen with all of his previous challengers.
Safe to say that I think that Orange Cassidy's gonna retain. Hence why it still shows that But then again, who knows? But I don't think Kyle Fletcher's gonna be the one that's gonna dethrone Orange Cassidy. It makes you wonder who will, and I think we'll find out. If not Dynamite, then definitely at Double or Nothing. So yeah, Jade Cargill puts her title on the line twice. She beats Danny B to initially retain it, and then beats Genesis to retain the title. And then out comes Taya Valkyrie, and
Who
she
is coming back from her suspension
and wants yeah.
after attempting to hit Aubrey Edwards with a Road to Valhalla.
hmm And then wants Jade Cargill at Double or Nothing for the TBS Championship. Thoughts? Every right.
It is going to happen.
Nothing is going to be banned, so she is
Nope.
allowed to be able to use her finishing move, the Road to Valhalla.
Which something tells me that at Double or Nothing, they're actually going to pull the trigger and give Taya Valkyrie the TBS title.
It would be nice because Jade Cargill has surpassed
She's
over 500 days as champion.
not to mention she's what, like 60-0 at this point.
She's 59-0. She has not gone 60-0
No, she
yet.
did go 60
She
because
did not.
her first defense against
Was
Danny B was
58-0.
no, it was 15.
No,
Well, she went in 58-0. Then she went in and defeated Danny
no, she
B.
was 57-0 going
No, it
into
was
that match.
58.
You
It was
better check that
58.
because she is
I
59-0.
can tell you right now she's 60-0.
She is not. She surpassed 500 days, but she is now 60-0. Sorry, everybody. We're checking out and seeing if she is.
I stand corrected. 59 wins.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I stand corrected.
I think
But
she'll
either
go
way,
60-0 and then finally lose.
but if that's the case, then who would they get as her 60th win? Because it damn sure can't be Taya Valkyrie again. Otherwise, that would derail her momentum. Not for nothing, because you you did that before with Athena. You had her go up against Jade Cargill for the TBS title, and at the time, Athena was coming in and she was like red hot, and then you had her lose to Jade Cargill. She lost all of her momentum before eventually defeating Mercedes Martinez at Final Battle last year. And I say last
Mm.
year, it was literally December, um, to become the ROH Women's World Champion. And now she's, pretty much running that division. But still, like,
Yeah, so Daddy Ass and Nick face off against the varsity athletes. Yeah, well, Daddy Ass and Nick they beat them. And then the Hardys and Brother Zay will face off against the Guns and Ethan Page at Double or Nothing. And then Ethan Page and the Guns beat down the Hardy Party, and then looks like Brother Zay's neck might be broken. I don't know how real it
I was
is.
gonna say, I think it's in kayfabe.
It might be, but that's not gonna stop him from wanting to beat down the Guns and Ethan Page's
Oh
ass.
yeah, I mean, come on, we need our Moan Man out there.
Can I get a yeah? And then Chris Jericho and Adam Cole will face off against each other in an unsanctioned match at Double or Nothing.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
so this
Which means
is
it will
what
not
this
count
was
against
in
the
reference to
record.
what I was saying earlier. Um, is the fact that during this little encounter, um, Chris Jericho had like a contract that said that Adam Cole could not be allowed into the building. He ripped it up, and Adam Cole was like, I am so glad you did that because now I'm going to do this. And walks through the doors, finds Chris Jericho, and then they proceed to beat the hell out of each other. So that was what happened on Rampage, and then, like I said, on Dynamite, uh, Adam Cole was literally waiting outside the arena, and Roddy Strong and Chris Jericho took the fight outside. Adam Cole sees that they come through. He's like, "Oh, perfect! Hey, we're outside. It's still technically legal, so
Right.
It's like Adam Cole finds loopholes, and that's the bigger picture. The storytelling with that.
It's
So,
going to be interesting what's going to be involved in this match. I think that Jericho Appreciation Society and Roger Strong will get involved. I don't think that
well, I
truly you're going to
mean,
see the end of Jericho
yeah.
and Adam Cole after this match, this
Well, here's the thing
unsanctioned fight.
too. Adam Cole is no stranger to unsanctioned matches. After all, he had one against Kyle O'Reilly in NXT.
Right.
So, you know,
All
Adam
right.
Cole is no stranger to that.
And then we get on to our main event of Rampage as Dustin Rhodes faces off against Bishop Khan.
Bishop Khan.
And surprisingly actually beats Bishop Khan, even though Bishop Khan is the one that's the six-man champion in ROH and Dustin Rhodes. But then afterwards, Brian Cage beats down Dustin Rhodes after the match, and all of the Mogul Embassy beat him down, and then Keith Lee helps out and locks eyes with Stuart Strickland, and then Keith Lee gets beat down. Safe to
Something tells me it's going to lead to a match between Keith Lee and Swerve at Double or Nothing.
No, I think it's going to be some Mogul affiliates,
The
um,
Mogul Embassy.
Mogul Embassy, and Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be Swerve and
Brian Cage.
and Brian Cage against Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee. I could be wrong, but then again, I could be right. Who knows? So yeah, this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Make sure a little bit longer than last episode where it was like almost a half hour. This is over an hour. Um, so make sure to follow us on social media, Tinkle Sports. As always, you want to follow us on Facebook Watch and also YouTube on Tinkle Sports Entertainment. Um, and then also, this is not just our only show on Tinkle Sports Entertainment. We also have Sunday Morning Tinkle every Sunday at 9 a.m. and also I Turn 4 every Tuesday and sometimes Saturday. So we definitely keep a lookout on that one as Brian's going to be talking about the Indy 500. And then also for Sunday Morning Tinkle, check it out. We talk about some basketball and also other sports as well with hockey and PGA tournament and whatnot. And then also, we're also going to be always talking about wrestling on the show. So don't discredit this show and everything like that. Of course, thank you for the continued support and being understanding that sometimes we can't do the show all the time, and sometimes we have to take a little bit of breaks. But other than that, we are going to make sure that this uh, channel and then the show is going to be always having an episodic episode every week, whether it's two people, whether it's just one. So as always, we will catch you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.